Well, hi again, everybody. Welcome back again to another edition of On the Town with Suz and Doug. And once again, she is Suz. I'm
Hi.
Doug. And we're going to continue our series of remembering some of our favorite,
Yeah.
shows and movies. And tonight, I'll let you introduce it, Suz. We're going to go back and remember one of our favorite cartoons.
Yes, tonight it is Yabba Dabba Doo. It's the Flintstones for all of you tonight. So we're excited about it. A great cartoon. Great
I'm
cartoon.
not sure what generation, I guess, doesn't remember that. If you were born after 1960, right?
Yeah,
You would have heard about it, right? If you never watched it, you would have heard about it. That's when it came on the
absolutely.
scene, 1960. Yeah.
1960, yeah, and it seems like I heard somewhere that the Flintstones was actually the model for the Flintstones was the Honeymooners.
Right.
So the cartoon was kind of made after and the same made from the Honeymooners, that same
Yeah,
type.
Jackie Gleason. I read a story. I don't know if it's true, but he was actually thinking at one time of suing because,
Oh my God.
basically the honeymooners in the Stone Age. But then he said he didn't want, he realized how many kids liked the show, and he said, "No, I'm not going to do it." So I don't know if
Yeah.
that's true or not, but that's the story I read.
Wow. Yeah,
So
it's
I
interesting.
mean, Fred Flintstone and Ralph Cramden very similar, right, in the way
Yeah.
they talked, and then Barney and Ed Norton kind of similar
Yeah.
in the way they talked.
Exactly. Yeah, you could feel the similarities, and then I guess with the wives, like with Wilma and
Wilma and Alice, even the way they drew Wilma, both redheads, even though you knew Alice was a redhead,
yeah,
black and
that's
white.
the
Yeah,
thing. Gosh, yeah, and
Betty and Trixie. Betty a little more built more of a character in the Flintstones than Trixie was in the
yeah,
Honeymooners.
yeah,
She wasn't quite as big a character.
yeah, and it seems like that's you're absolutely right because when you think of the Flintstones, Betty is the one character, um, pretty, an attractive character on the show and there, but you don't really get to understand her character as much as, with Wilma.
Right. Yeah, it took place in the Flintstones' house most of the time.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah. So
yeah.
and
You
it's,
look at Betty, she was like twice the size of Barney. When you look
yeah,
at it, Barney was
yeah,
a little guy.
yeah. See, because he was a little guy. Absolutely. Yeah. When you really think
I
about
think
that,
Fred and Wilma are about the same size,
yeah, about the same
but
height. And
Barney was like really tiny.
he was, it was interesting. And with Fred, I heard like in high school, he had been a football player,
Oh,
I
did they
think.
do an episode where whatever the Stone Age version of football
I,
was they played?
football, yeah. So I think he had been a sports guy in school. I know with bowling and
I know
his,
they
yeah.
went bowling in the show because they showed the pin setters were monkeys.
I know, it's so
They come
cute.
down with their tails and lift up the pins.
I thought that was so cute. I love that. That show was just, and I love with the vacuum cleaner, like the little,
It was
it
an
just,
elephant, wasn't it? An
it was
elephant.
clever. Yeah, I love that.
Whoever wrote those, like the appliances or whatever, they were really really well done. I
That
think
was so
the
well.
record player was like what was it, like a stork or something
The
with the beak?
stork, and then that was so good. I
Put
love
the beak down on the record.
that. That was really amazing. And then, yeah, just the cleverness that was in, to draw that must have been,
Yeah, you're
yeah.
an artist, and you draw very good Flintstones characters. You've done that over the years. That must have been not easy, right?
It's really, yeah, I would say for the cartoonists who developed the characters, what they
Yeah.
were going to like, because they wanted to probably make the characters so for the series, for each episode, it wouldn't be that different. They would have like a basic costume for all the
They
characters,
always 90% of the time they wore the same clothes, right?
the same one. And, it was kind of fun. Like every once in a while, they would change up a little bit, or if
Like a tuxedo, if they went out, Fred would have the tuxedo. Same kind of, hung on him, but it was a tuxedo.
tuxedo. It was nice to see Wilma sometimes. I don't know if I ever saw her with her hair down.
I think she always had that bun, right?
Yeah, and it's nice to see different, yeah, or like Fred. I'm not sure I would have wanted to see him with a beard, but it's nice to see like the
Yeah, I don't
character.
think they ever had the beard with Fred or because
So
didn't they show him shaving and the shaver was like a little
yeah,
something
that
that clipped it or something? It was an
look,
animal that
yeah. It seems like he always went. Zzz. It was so, and it actually made like a noise. It was really cute the way that. It was the cutest thing. The way
I
that
never
they
understood though, like when they watched TV, then they didn't have electricity. How did the TV work?
had that. You're absolutely right. And they had like rabbit ears on the
Yeah,
TV too.
they had to buy into that, I
Yeah,
guess. Or
yeah,
how about the
that,
car? When they got in the car, it was like two
yeah.
big stone wheels, and then they ran with their feet to get it going, and then it just kept going.
How would that? Yeah, and it was so weird.
There's
Like,
no engine in it.
how would that work too? Yeah, because and it was so funny.
And
And
then
then
they
like,
ran with the feet to get the car going, and then
how would you even do that? I used to think when I was little, like stones that would be so heavy,
yeah.
and seats were. It's amazing how they, yeah,
Well, the
unless
appliances made sense, the animals but the car didn't make sense. And
yeah,
the TV
that was a little bit. I thought it was cute, like the dinosaurs, where he worked like riding the dinosaur, and then
at the
whoop,
rock quarry,
the
yeah.
rock quarry, and
Did
that.
they both work? They both worked at the rock quarry, right? Both Barney and Fred.
I was trying to remember. I think they did. It seems like Fred was a big machine.
He was like in the dinosaur, the machine, like the lift, whatever they call it.
Okay, and
And
then
I don't
I
know
was
what Barney did, but I thought they both worked there. Yeah.
yeah, because I'm thinking with Barney being smaller, he probably yeah, I get maybe he did the same thing.
I
That
guess I don't know if they ever showed with Barney, but I thought they both worked at the rock quarry.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think they both did. Because it's interesting. It's so funny because I think they had like a Flintstones movie. It was interesting in the
They made
1990s.
a cartoon version. You mean the cartoon version or the live version they
It
did?
was actually like with John Goodman.
Oh, right, the one they did in the 90s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Elizabeth Taylor was in it. She played
She was the
Wilma's
mother,
mom.
Wilma's mother, right?
That was really
Oh,
so.
good. I saw that on an airplane.
Oh my God, it was really good. Halle Berry was in it too.
She was in.
She
They made
was.
two of them. Yeah, she was in one of them.
Oh my gosh, and
Uh,
I
I
wish.
forget who played Barney. He was Rick
Oh,
Moranis, maybe. He might have been Barney. I'm not
I think
sure.
so. And
Yeah.
then I think in the movie, in the film version, like Barney was a smart guy. He was
Was he
like
smart? And I forget now what happened.
he.
Yeah.
I think in the first one there was a test that they had to pass, like to become an executive, and Barney passed it.
Oh,
He
really?
did well on the test. Fred did not,
Yeah.
and then somehow Fred they traded. Barney he was like a nice guy. I remember Barney was always kind of a nice guy, and he gave Fred his exam, or he
Oh,
switched.
yeah.
So Fred got to be the executive, but it was really Barney.
Barney. Oh, okay. I'd forgotten the plot on that.
Yeah, I don't know why he did
Yeah.
that, but it was interesting. He switched exams with
Yeah.
because and to be like become an
They did a
executive.
good job in the movie. I mean, they created the whole Stone Age village there. Pretty good.
It was really good. Yeah, and the I thought Liz Taylor being
He actually was pretty good in that. Yeah.
that was she was like, Alfred, and she was just oh my gosh, because I remember in the Flintstones the Wilma's mom was kind of
Kind of the
yeah,
typical mom character in cartoons. Kind of the
kind of
plump,
scary.
little, yeah,
She was kind of big.
big,
I
plump, and the gray hair and the little bun, and
yeah, and she was like a
and she
known
was
kid.
always she didn't like Fred too much. Oh, that was in the Honeymooners too. Alice's mother would come to visit, and she would always insult Ralph.
Okay, so I wondered about that. Okay, so she did not.
Yeah, and then Ralph would call her a blabbermouth, and they got into a big argument. It was funny.
My gosh, that is so. Oh my
But she would
gosh.
always insult them being fat and all that. So it was just
Oh my gosh, it is so interesting. So they were, yeah, so they didn't get. It's interesting how that, yeah, so they did that and
in the
just like,
honeymooners. Yeah. So
yeah, and the weirdest thing is, I don't think like with Barney and Betty, I don't remember seeing a parent for
I don't
like,
think they did that with them. No, it was again. It was mostly Fred and Wilma in their house, unless they
yeah,
were out somewhere. Yeah.
yeah, because I think that with yeah, I remember Wilma's mom. I
Yeah.
remember her, and I think when Pebbles was born too, it seemed like the Wilma's mom came because I remember Pebbles
Probably the
saying
babysit, right? Yeah.
grandma or something like that. And I guess Bam Bam they got
Now,
him
Bam
and
Bam was adopted, right? Isn't that what you told me?
adopted. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
adopted. Yeah, they couldn't
Get
have.
the storyline, but yeah, I guess he was adopted.
And it was really kind of nice they did that storyline because
Unusual for
it
a cartoon, yeah. I mean, that was well. Actually, originally it was supposed to be an adult cartoon. The whole
yeah,
thing. It was designed for more. I mean, kids could like it, but it was more for adults. And it was
yeah,
on at night originally.
that's
Yeah.
what I heard. So was it like a prime time?
Prime time. I don't know what night of the week, but it was a prime time show in 1960. I think it
Wow,
was on for 4 or 5 years, whatever. And then later on, they kept put them in reruns. That's how you and I probably saw it in reruns during the day.
it's
And
very
then they would make like I think they made new ones starting in the 80s, maybe.
yeah. And then I remember it's the weirdest thing. They had this it was in the 1970s. They had a Pebbles and Bam Bam like they were in high school.
Oh, they grew up a little bit, right? They had their own show, right?
And
Right.
and Pebbles was really pretty.
They made Pebbles like the hot teenager, right?
She
Yeah.
was really adorable. Yeah.
For a
Well,
cartoon, I mean.
well, I know Wilma was a nice looking
Yeah,
lady, and you know,
cartoon. They made her as a
and
hot
she was
teenager,
really
right?
cute. Yeah, she was adorable, and she was a cheerleader. I
Oh, was
remember
she? Yeah. Yeah.
too. And Bam Bam grew up to be a decent looking
And what
kid.
did band? Was he in the band too?
Uh,
Well, they had a
I
band, right?
Yeah, they had a band, and
Yeah.
I think they were going together. I think they get married.
Did they get married in the
Ba-
cartoon?
Bam
Yeah.
Bam. I think yeah, and I think they
But they
had a.
also had a new Flintstones too. You know, Wilma and Fred and Barney. They made a whole nother series later
Oh,
on.
so where yeah, because I think they have the one where Pebbles and Bam Bam were in high school.
Yeah.
Don't know if Pebbles went on to college.
Yeah, I don't know
I
how far they took them.
Yeah, and I just remember she was a cute girl. Yeah,
Yeah.
she was always going, Daddy, like he adored her,
Yeah.
Fred.
Right.
And he's like, Pebbly, he said, he was like the worried dad all the
Yeah.
time. And it was cute. And he was always like with boys, he was the protective dad.
Sure.
So yeah, she was very cute. I remember that too. So that was a very I think they just had the one. I don't think they had any other kids
Those are the
though.
only kids in that show, right? Yeah. Then they had well, Dino the dinosaur was their pet. Remember,
Okay.
like the dog was a little dinosaur. Remember that?
That's sure. And then they yeah, and I
Hey,
remember
Didn't Barney and Betty have like a saber cat or something? Is
yeah,
that pet?
that was so good. I love that. They had a saber tooth
Tiger or
cat.
whatever? Cat, yeah, right.
That that was so funny. And then I remember this thing that hopped around, Hoppy,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. What was that? Just a big rabbit or was it a
like kangaroo or something.
kangaroo maybe?
And I
Yeah.
was trying to think, was that Wilma and Fred's
I don't
pet?
remember now that you bring it up. I remember they had that, but I forget who.
Yeah, and Dino was cute. He loved Fred. He would
Yeah. Dino was always jumping on him, but he was so much bigger, he'd always knock Fred down. And
It was so adorable.
well, how about all like the celebrities they'd have on? Remember they had our Anne Margrock,
Oh my
Anne
gosh.
Margaret. but
Oh
they had the
God.
real people doing the voices, remember? And Stony Curtis was Tony
Oh
Curtis.
my gosh, that was so good. I
Cary Grant. Now they didn't have Cary Grant real voice, but they had Cary Grant on. Remember?
Oh my gosh, that was so good. And they had something like the Beatles or something. I was
They had
trying to
like there's something like a Beatles band, right, with the
a
shaggy
Beatles
hair. Yeah,
with
right.
and then they had something like with the Adams family. Remember the Gruesomes or
Was
something
that
that
on? Oh, I remember
they
that.
were really weird. Like he was like, ugh. Yeah, they lived in this really weird house, like like a stone
In the
mansion.
cartoon, they did like an Adams. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Gruesomes, yeah, that was
Yeah,
kind of
'cause
weird.
that was on. The Adams Family was on then too. They probably made fun of
It was
them.
really interesting the way. And then they had I was trying to think there was something else. Oh, they had this other like a movie, The Jetsons meet the Flintstones. I
I
never
was going to
saw.
say, did they ever meet up?
Yeah, I think that they met, and I never saw. I would have liked to have
Never
seen.
saw that. The Jetsons came out maybe 2 or 3 years after the Flintstones. Same company, Hanna-Barbera. They were just
Okay,
like the Flintstones in the future, just futuristic family. Yeah.
and you know what? I'll be honest. For some reason, I never got into the Jetsons as much
They only
as
did one season of that. My sister and I, we watched that recently,
yeah.
one episode, but they only did one season of it where the Flintstones was on. I thought they did more of that, but it was only one year of the Jetsons. But
Oh,
Flintstones, they did a bunch. Yeah.
oh my
Yeah.
God. Yeah,
It was good, but yeah, Flintstones, I think, was better.
yeah, it was just I mean it was cute the music and all for the Jetsons, meet his wife. It was kind of cool like all the but I just I don't know. I think I'd
I
like
think they kind
but
of ran out of ideas in the Jetsons. How many futuristic things can you do, I guess,
yeah, it
Yeah.
was the 60s. Yeah, it was kind
It
of
was good, but yeah, but that was a spin-off almost of the Flintstones in a
Flintstones.
sense,
It was
just in
almost
the
like
future.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was and I wonder if the Jetsons was a prime time
I think it
show.
was. Yeah, I think they did that
Gosh.
for a year, and then they threw it in a Saturday morning or whatever. That's when you and I saw them.
Yeah, I was so cute. I loved, I always was a huge Flintstones fan.
Yeah.
That was my favorite. It still is like my favorite because you can watch those and it's like an adult. Yeah, you don't feel
Yeah.
bored or anything. They're
They're
cute.
a little more high quality than a lot of kids' cartoons were.
Yeah, you have to have a little bit of to watch them. You gotta think about it a little bit, and it's
Yeah.
like,
And they
or
were first long form cartoon. I mean, they were, the full half-hour show. It wasn't like an 8-minute cartoon. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it was like a full half-hour show. Yeah.
It was real and what I used to like was when Wilma and Betty went shopping.
Oh,
They
yeah, yeah, yeah.
charge it,
Charge
they
it. Yeah. That's right.
that was so great, and I loved it, like, the escalator was like a dinosaur, like,
Was
they
it the
stood
tail?
yeah, they stood on the back of it was like a department store
Yeah, I remember
or
they had an escalator. I forget how they worked that. Okay. Yeah.
that was so cute.
How about when they went to Rock Vegas, Las
Oh,
Vegas? I think they did that in an episode, didn't they? Right? Or was that in a movie?
I think they did, but I
I
think
thought they
they
went to
did
Rock Vegas in the cartoon too.
yeah. Yeah, I think they did, and it's really and it's fun to see. They also did this. It was a movie they said, and I never. It was a Halloween one where Fred wins this. They went to this old hotel, and no, a castle. They win a trip to Rockvania
Oh,
or
did they? Yeah.
yeah, and they go to Frankenstein's castle or something, and it was supposed to be like a Halloween thing,
Oh,
but
okay. I don't think I
I
saw
guess
that.
a little kid watching it, I didn't like it. It was probably a little spooky for me, but there was like a vampire, and they all
Yeah.
end up running out of the castle, and yeah, it was at the end. It was kind of silly, but it was like a cute. But it's funny how like these things when you're a kid watching it, it's totally different.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
you get like,
And
oh my
the
gosh.
voices in that show were good. I think a guy named Alan Reed did Fred. Gene, I was looking this up. Gene Vanderpyle was Wilma, and then the original Barney was Mel Blanc, who did Bugs Bunny and all those
Oh,
great cartoons, Daffy Duck. Then there was a different guy, I think, took it over later. I forget who it was.
oh my
But,
God.
so he was a famous voiceover guy, Mel Blanc. Yeah.
It was really good.
Yeah.
Did it, the characters, all of them. Yeah, whoever did Fred, really good.
He was good. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was really good. And Barney, I wonder who did Barney, because
There was Mel Blanc first, and then some other guy did it later. I think that was famous
okay,
cartoon voice, but I forget who it was.
it's
I
interesting.
know, I know it was the guy that was on the Mayberry show, Andy
Oh,
Griffith, that played the drunk.
oh my
He played
gosh.
Barney for a while. Yeah, people might
Oh,
remember him. The drunk guy on Mayberry on Andy Griffith.
oh my,
Otis. He was
oh,
Barney for a while.
oh gosh, that's so interesting. It was good. It was good. Yeah, the
Really
Flintstones.
good. Yeah. Yeah, they don't make cartoons like that anymore, unfortunately.
No, and whoever did Mr. Slate too,
Mr. Slate was the boss, right? Yeah, yeah.
that was so good. I loved how they did that, and like they lived in a mansion, and it was so funny. It was a great. And then the only thing that I never really understood, that little Martian they
Oh
had,
yeah, that was
Mr.
Kazoo.
Kazoo, or
That was who did the voice of that? It was Harvey Korman from the Carl Burnett show.
oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
I saw an interview with him. He said that was one of the best jobs he ever had because he only did a
oh,
handful of them, but people think he did a lot more. But yeah, Kazoo, Harvey Korman.
Kazoo.
Somehow he just like came down and popped on Fred's shoulder, right?
Yeah, yeah, and
He
I'll
called
be
him
honest,
Dum Dum.
it was okay, but I don't know what it was. There was just something about that.
Wasn't like a little man. He was a little man from space that Fred and Barney ran into once, but then he'd pop in every once in a while after that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I
Yeah.
don't think Wilma and Fred could see him. I mean, I don't think
Wilma and Betty couldn't see him, right? Just Fred and Barney.
just
Yeah.
Fred and Barney. Yeah, could
Yeah, he'd
see.
pop on his shoulder and they called him Dum Dum.
Yeah, you always called him Dum Dum, and he would say Dum
Kind of
Dum.
pompous. Yeah, he was a pompous little guy. Yeah, but
Yeah,
that was Harvey Korman for people that remember the Carl Burnett show.
oh my
That's
gosh,
another one. We got to do a video on the Carl Burnett show sometime.
that
You and
was
I both watched that growing up. Yeah, that's another one. Yeah.
that was I'll tell you, she was so talented. Carol Burnett. She had a lot of talent. She wasn't bad looking either.
No,
I
she kind of, self-deprecating, but no, very good-looking woman. Actually, I just saw a story this week. She got her handprint in the Chinese movie theater in Hollywood where they do the handprint. She just got
oh
that
my,
the other day.
oh
Grauman's called something else now.
yeah.
She's
Oh my
91, and then Dick Van Dyke came out to see her. They showed a picture. And
oh,
actually, as we record this today, it was today's paper. They showed it.
oh my
Yeah,
god.
they worked together, a bunch of times, but
Now
yeah, so
is
she's still doing pretty good. 91. Yeah.
oh my god, now is Dick Van Dyke still
He's
alive?
98. Looks pretty good, Yeah, looks
That
pretty
is
good.
so wonderful. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Now
he just,
Dick
he
Van
just got
Dyke.
an Emmy for something he did on a soap opera. So he got an Emmy. He's the oldest Emmy winner ever. That happened like, I don't know, a couple
Oh,
years ago.
now Dick Van Dyke. Now I was trying to think. He doesn't have dementia or anything like
Yeah,
that.
he's in good shape. Yeah, yeah, great
That's
shape.
fantastic.
Yeah.
He looked like he had always kept his weight
Always,
down.
yeah, always was a thin guy, Yeah.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
and
we'll do a
just
show on a segment on the Dick Van Dyke Show. And then, of course,
wow.
he did Mary Poppins and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, the movies, and then Diagnosis Murder. So, I mean, he's one of the great careers of all time.
Wow. Now Julie Andrews, is she still alive?
She's still around, yeah, yeah.
I
I think
loved her.
she's 88. Yeah, she's still around.
I love Julie Andrews too. Yeah, it's so I'm so happy they're
Yeah,
still.
we'll do a separate one on them, but I guess that'll wrap up our remembering the Flintstones.
Absolutely. That's why and
So
I
anybody out there under a certain age, you probably don't even know what we're talking about, but go check them out.
yeah, the Flintstones, I tell you, it is such a special cartoon. It's a cartoon for a lifetime
Yeah,
that
funny.
you enjoy. And I love to draw them. still.
You do a
I
good job
still love
drawing it. Maybe we'll have to,
I love to draw the
sometime
cartoon.
you'll have to get your drawings and we'll put them up on, we'll do it, put them up on the video so people can see them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It
But,
is so
well, I got to give a thumbs up to the Flintstone. We can't give anything
love
like that a thumbs down,
oh,
right?
my favorite cartoon always. I'll be honest, I was a Scooby-Doo fan too. I loved Scooby-Doo, but I really like the
I'll
Flintstones.
have to do a segment on that, but you'll have to tell me more about it because I never saw that show. So we'll have
Yeah,
to,
yeah. I'll be honest, I liked Scooby-Doo. I liked Josie and the Pussycats and
yeah.
I liked the Pink
Pink
Panther.
Panther was, no, I remember that one. Yeah. Well, that's another show. We'll hold off on that.
Absolutely.
But that'll wrap up this edition, and
Yes.
we'll get back to next week. We're going to start doing some more restaurants soon, so
Yes.
stay tuned for that. But we'll continue to do these as well because this is fun.
Yes.
Going down
Yes.
memory lane.
Absolutely. Well,
Thanks for watching, everybody.
thank you.